A massive victory against Australia and a spectacular camp from Mauricio Pochettino's U.S. men's national team. Let's get right into the instant reaction. Haji Wright. If you have been a subscriber to this channel since the beginning, in the last 18 months, the last 12 months, the last 6 months, any period of time, there has not been a video that has gone by in which I have not spoken about my belief in Haji Wright and why not only should he be, at the very worst, the third striker in this World Cup roster, but somebody who could very well push and make a case to be a potential starter in at least one match at the World Cup, and he showed exactly that in this match against Australia. He was just spectacular. Those 2 goals, those finishes, that's why Haji Wright is a completely different level to Josh Sargent. I don't mean this as a Josh Sargent slander, and I'm sure many of you saw that thumbnail and thought of this as a slander episode, but what I'm saying is that there isn't even a conversation. Haji Wright scores goals. He's quick, athletic, smart, clinical. He's everything you want. He adds to the game. He can drop out wide. He can drop into possession. And most importantly, the way that he moves off the back shoulder of defenders and gets himself into those positions to score the 2 goals that he did is what makes him the perfect player for this team. Josh Sargent, yes, he can score loads of goals in the championship, but he has not shown any sort of consistency at any point in his career. He has shown a lot of quick and fast areas where he has scored many goals in a short period of time, but Haji Wright has done it over long periods of time and affects the game in other ways when he's not scoring goals, and he did all of that in this match. Just unbelievable performance from him. That second goal, he took 3 total touches to score those 2 goals. The first one, 0 touches. Just poked it past the keeper. Just so confident in the way he scored. And the second one, took that 1 touch, waited, and just struck it home. The goalie had no chance on either. What a great performance from Haji Wright. And then just to zoom out a little bit on this camp, I previewed this camp in saying these are 2 very difficult matches. On paper, looking at the teams, maybe people who are not so clued in thought, okay, Ecuador and Australia, we're the United States. We should be dominating these matches. But that's not necessarily the truth. We're talking about an Australia team, as you can see here, was ranked 25th in the world. Ecuador was 22nd. We beat Japan, who are in the top 20 most recently. Against these 2 teams, who had not lost in a combined 22 matches, 11 unbeaten, each of them coming into the matches. Against Ecuador, we get that draw. We give up that 1 goal. We only gave up 0.49 XG, so under half an XG, and 4 shots on target. Against Australia, 0.75 XG, of which most of it came in those final minutes. That great opportunity that Matt Freese got down and saved after all the subs had come on. 0.75 XG and 3 shots on target. The goal we gave up, again, just a little bit of a silly mistake in defense, kind of by Chris Richards again. Combined 7 shots on target and 1.24 XG against 2 top 25 nations who hadn't lost in a combined 22 matches. This camp was the turning point from Mauricio Pochettino and has left us with so many important questions to answer that I think people, when they hear questions to answer, think a bad thing. To me, the questions to answer out of this camp, and I will get to those questions, are all positive things. We have got players who want to fight for their spot, who want to fight to make the roster, who want to fight for starting positions, who maybe 6 months ago, none of us even considered as potential World Cup players making their case. And that is what Mauricio Pochettino has done. You had to stick with him. You had to take the little victories, the little moments in bad matches and see what was coming out of it to get to this point. And I'm not going to blow it out of proportion. We didn't go beat England. But taking these 2 teams down with, again, I mean, Pulisic came on, the last 20 minutes of the first match, got injured in the first 20 minutes of this match. Malik Tillman didn't play the second match. Balogun didn't play the second match. Ricardo Pepi, Serginho Dest, Anthony Robinson, not there at all. And this is what we're doing. Pochettino has made an impact. He has made a difference on this team, and you just had to stick with it to see it out. Let's get more into the player breakdowns, as I was mentioning before. You, of course, have Cristian Roldan, who, as you can see here, was just spectacular by the statistical part of it. The 2 assists, both passes, really, really nice. 47-52 passing, 4-4 ground duels won. Here's what I'll say about Cristian Roldan. I'm going to start with the negative, and then I'm going to give you all the positives, because I believe he deserves tons of praise for this performance, for what he's done in this camp. My thing with Cristian Roldan is, out of possession, he is too slow. The game gets played around him a little bit. He's working hard. It's not a work ethic thing. He's not really a deep midfielder, right? Like, this is a player who is more in the mold of a McKennie, who wants to play forward, who wants to get on the ball kind of in the first phase and make that first forward pass. And that's where I'm going to switch to the positives. Cristian Roldan is a very good forward passer, and actually something we desperately need in this pivot. If you recall from the Gold Cup, my biggest issue with the side was Luca De La Torre was incapable of playing forward. Not a good forward passer. Liked to go sideways, liked to go backwards. Sebastian Berhalter, as much as he often looked for a big forward pass, he wasn't a great forward passer on the ground. He likes big switches. Roldan is really good at playing direct, playing through the lines, and following the ball. I think that's something we need very, very badly in this team, right? Just to look at it kind of on a tactical board here. So I wasn't planning on getting this till a little bit later, but what Roldan did really, really well here was, I'm going to say he's the 8 here, and James Sands was the 6. When he was able to pop into these spaces and this ball would come here, instead of just going sideways, he was really, really strong at getting this pass into the 10, one of the 10s, right? Like this player stepping in here. And then when he made this pass, he didn't hang out here. If this player dropped, Roldan kept following it. Or if this player came through, Roldan would follow it here, and then the next pass was able to get this way. Those are the types of things that I think Roldan is really, really strong at, and he showed that in this game with those 2 assists, both really well taken. He's smart. He's hardworking. Listen, a month ago, Cristian Roldan had no chance at being in the 26 for the World Cup. I think he's making a case for at least being in the next camp in November. We've got another camp in 3 weeks, and then we'll see what he does there. I can't imagine he's anywhere near a starting position, but out of possession, I think he's just too big of a liability. But I'm really proud of Cristian Roldan and for this team and for what he brings in training camp. You hear it. You hear the talk around the camp. He brings a lot of energy to the camp. He brings a hard work ethic, and Pochettino likes that about him. So good for Cristian Roldan. James Sands. I was really excited about James Sands getting the opportunity, and I want to credit Pochettino for giving James Sands that opportunity, right? It's so easy for him to have been like, these are the players I'm considering. I'm not going to look at James Sands. I know he's playing well. James Sands is playing great in the Bundesliga. Let's give him a shot. For James Sands, I'm actually going to start with the positives because I thought there were maybe a few more negatives than positives. What I really like about James Sands is he has a really good sense of timing in passing and moving into space. Very different kind of timing of passing than Roldan. Like, James Sands wants to be more of a metronome type of player, a high-volume passer type of player. He wants to, just again to go back to this board, James Sands wants to get the ball in this space, play it, here, pop out here. He wants to play the ball into this 10, and then he wants to pop over here and get the ball. He wants to receive the ball on the halfway line, right? Let's say the defense is back, play it here, and then pop out here. He really wants to follow the ball and get many touches on the ball to try and be that metronome. Even when the ball gets played deep, James Sands wants to get into here and then swing it back this way. Like, I like that about him, that there's a little bit of variable to his passing. He follows the ball very well. He likes to get forward, knowing he still needs to get back. Really, really strong in those areas for me, and I think he has really good amount of patience on the ball. I'd say the biggest issues from what I saw from James Sands was actually defending in 1v1s. Down the right-hand side 2 times, he was in between trying to get a foot in and trying to keep the ball in front of him, and both times there was a little bit of too easy of an entry into the box. I saw a lot of people giving him slack actually for that first goal. It wasn't a good clearance. Obviously, you don't want to clear the ball anywhere near your box. He was just trying to get a foot on a throw-in that he didn't want to be an easy entry into the box, and obviously the defense should have cleared it better, and this wouldn't have been any point of discussion. So I'm not going to give him too much slack for that. But, listen, I think James Sands hasn't really made a case to get himself into the November squad if everybody is fit. But if Cardoso's still not fit, if Tyler Adams has still played too many games, there's a chance that we could see James Sands continue to make a push. I think him and Yunus Musa at this point are very much in similar positions. Like, Yunus Musa, I don't know if Yunus Musa is in this squad. I had him as, a lock in the first World Cup squad. I had him in a, at-large bid. I think he's still probably in the at-large bid section, and make sure to hit that subscribe button because we're going to do a video on the stock up, stock down World Cup squads that we've been doing, so make sure to stay tuned for that one. But it's an interesting conversation with James Sands at this point. Weston McKennie. This was one of the poorer matches I've seen from Weston McKennie, and I thought it was really interesting on the broadcast, the way that they were talking about him. They thought that he had put in his best performance for the U.S. men's national team in a long time. What I saw from Weston McKennie in this match was his inability to affect play as this kind of inside forward off the right-hand side. I thought he didn't know where to be. Clearly, if you remember, right out of halftime, Weston McKennie continued over and over again to, instead of playing, sorry, let's get back to this base formation, right? Like this 10, let's say this 10's Weston McKennie. Instead of kind of playing up here with the double 10s, Weston McKennie started dropping into this three-man midfield. Sometimes when we get into that diamond a little bit that I talk so much about, right? Like where somebody's kind of dropping the deepest. So you had Roldan kind of dropping here and this little diamond being created. And then Weston McKennie was just kind of overloading into the same areas as Sands and Roldan. Like he didn't know where to be on the ball. I thought he was very poor in this match over and over again. He left in the first half, he kept drifting super far wide, right? Like you had Freeman out here and McKennie kind of in this same space. And then Haji Wright down this right-hand side had nothing. Everything Haji Wright did positively came down the left-hand side with Pulisic or when Luna came in. There was really nowhere for McKennie to be effective on this match. I just think overall for Weston, like, yes, he's obviously making this World Cup squad, but where does he fit into this side, right? Like, what is Weston McKennie? What is his position, right? Like, this is how we started this match. I put Pulisic/Luna because it was such an early sub. But, like, this isn't his position. Could he play this Roldan role? Yes, I think he can. I've been saying for a while, I talked about Roldan, why he's such a good forward passer, why he's such a better option to De La Torre, why I thought at the Gold Cup we needed somebody like a Weston McKennie in that position. I still feel strongly about that, but I have yet to see Pochettino feel that way about McKennie. My thought is Pochettino doesn't think McKennie can cover enough space, is not enough of a defensive player in that pivot who can be relied on. I don't think Roldan has been good at that. I don't think Aiden Morris has been good at that. So, like, I still think McKennie has that opportunity and should be given a chance in that double pivot, especially alongside a player like a James Sands or a Johnny Cardoso. Like, I still think Cardoso and McKennie or Adams and McKennie can be a really strong midfield for us because of his ability to play forward. I really think Cardoso and McKennie may be the strongest of that pairing. If McKennie's going to be in it, I still want to see Cardoso Tessman. But this match really not inspiring for me from Weston McKennie in any way. Moving on to our defensive line. Mark McKenzie, he's so aggressive, and that's really his greatest asset, like his brutality, his physicality, his ability to just use his body as a defender. But oftentimes it gets him into so much trouble, right? Like we saw him so many times stepping this high up into the pitch to try and win the ball back or getting way out here. And yeah, many times that he did, but also many times he didn't. And it left Chris Richards exposed and on his own to try and defend. I will say this over and over again. I don't think Chris Richards is the center back. I think Mark McKenzie is the center back. Like, that's the thing that's confusing to me. I understand when you play Miles Robinson has to be the right center back, and you wanted to see what this team looked like without Tim Riemann, and I get all of that. But to turn the conversation away from Mark McKenzie, but Chris Richards just isn't at his best at center back. You've seen two very uncommon Chris Richards mistakes in this camp, both times because he was played at center back. That's not where he's at his best on the ball or off the ball. He's a good wide 1v1 defender. He's an unbelievable passer from these right half spaces when he gets high and wide. We saw it around the 23rd minute mark. If you have the time, if you're able to go find it, I wish I could include this video clip. At the 23rd minute mark, it was like 22:35. Chris Richards from right here, he gets a little right of center, plays a ball into Pulisic. That is just unbelievable. It's the same kind of ball that Chris Richards plays. And I don't mean in terms of the angle. I mean in terms of the way he hits the ball. He hits the ball with this over-the-top, bouncing, hard pass that is so hard for defenders to get in the way of and seemingly is controllable for his attackers. And he hit Pulisic, created a counterattack opportunity so quickly from back to front. It's where we need Chris Richards to be in that right center back position if we're going to play this back five. I hope in November we get to see Richards right center back, McKenzie center back, Tim Ream left center back. I really, really believe that's where we're at our best in build-up and out of possession. Those three players, all of their tools being used to the best of their abilities. Because Mark McKenzie at center back is not going to be able to step forward the way that he has at left center back. He's going to have to be the anchor of that back line, and that's where he can use his physicality at his best. And then it gets Tim Ream and Chris Richards out wide in 1v1s where they're both comfortable defending, and out wide on the ball where they're really comfortable in breaking the press. And importantly, I think it also is a huge discussion about our wingbacks. Like Tim Weah at wingback, not only is it leaving us incredibly open at times, like there's the amount of times where Tim Weah is getting high up the pitch, right? And doesn't have the sense that when he plays this ball, he needs to be ready for it to come back this way. But my biggest issue with Tim Weah is, and I'm going to show you a little bit of this buildup, is when this ball comes out here to Tim Weah here, he doesn't really want to receive the ball here. He's not a forward passer. He's not comfortable playing this ball. So what happens is when this player comes to press and this player comes to press, Weah either has to play this ball here or he's uncomfortable trying to play this pass. He's incapable of doing it. The times where Tim Weah was most effective is actually when he gets a little bit higher. You had James Sands kind of dropping in as this four center backs, right? Like you basically had these four players playing as a back four in possession. And then Tim Weah was able to kind of drop back into possession here. This ball is played here as Tim Weah is cutting in. And then he's able to actually carry into midfield. But that's not what the wingbacks are being asked to do in this formation. And it's why, to me, this formation actually really only works if it's Sergiño Dest and Anthony Robinson, because the two of them, when they're played as the wingbacks in this formation, like if this is Robinson and Dest, they're both very comfortable stepping in and playing the ball into midfield and then overlapping. Or if you're Dest, stepping in and dropping into this pivot, right? So like it's Sands or a Tessman can come out as this fourth center back, and then you can get this player higher and wider, the where that they want to be. But we saw it with Arfstin at left wing back in the first match, completely ineffective. Not that Arfstin is ever super effective, but in possession, attacking, like Max Arfstin has categorically been very good for the U.S. There's no doubting his defensive liabilities, but he's added to the goals and assists. He's been very creative. But when it's funny how when you're actually in a back three, these wingbacks don't get as high and wide because they're being asked to drop a little bit more in the buildup. And because of that, Weah, Arfstin, even Freeman at times, I think struggle to really have the impact they want to have. Like Alex Freeman, I actually think this was his worst game for the U.S. men's national team that he has played at this level since Pochettino has brought him into the side. We need to see this group with the back five that I've been pitching, which is Anthony Robinson, left wing back, Tim Ream, left center back, Mark McKenzie, center back, Chris Richards, right center back, and Sergiño Dest, right wing back. The way that those players can play off of each other, the way that you can get these players a little bit higher and wider, right? You can get Mark McKenzie here in the center. I'm actually going to go to the tactical board so that the names don't confuse you, right? What you can do is you can get Richards here, McKenzie here, Tim Ream here. And then what you have in midfield is Dest can kind of drop here, but he can also become part of this diamond that we've been talking about so much. Then you've got, I'm going to create the diamond with our 7. We're going to put, so this is Anthony Robinson out here. This is Dest dropping in here. You've got your double 10s here. And then Tessman and Cardoso here, right? This type of thing where you're kind of creating this diamond the way you want to. And then Tillman, Dest, they can drop wider. If this ball comes out here, you have them dropping into the midfield a little bit more. If the ball comes out wide, right? Richards, when Dest actually drops this way wide, you can get Tillman to pop into this pocket. You can get Dest to pop into this pocket and Tillman to pop out wide. Pulisic to come a little bit more central and get tight to the striker. It just works in terms of the way that these players want to operate. Whereas right now, with the way Tim Weah is, he's not comfortable passing forward. And it's really hurting this team in the way that it plays. What else do we have to cover here? Miles Robinson. Miles Robinson's definitely made the case to be the extra center back here with this World Cup squad, and I think he was fine. In 2 matches, I don't feel that he really did anything super wrong, right? Like, I'm not going to sit here and bash Miles Robinson, but again, he offered nothing dangerous in possession for me. I didn't think he really played any passes forward that created any sort of attack. That's where we want to create our attacks, from our wide center backs. I've been mentioning this since the beginning of Pochettino. That's how he likes to create, kind of getting that ball wide and then playing those hard passes between the lines or playing that ball into the channel over the top. Miles Robinson, really was not capable of that at any point. There was also a couple of times where I thought, similar to James Sands down that right-hand side, he was unable to keep the play in front of him, allowed a free entry into the box in a dangerous situation. I would say the two best opportunities that Australia had outside of their goal, both were at fault of Miles Robinson, where it wasn't necessarily the player he was marking or defending that, had the shot on goal, but the dangerous opportunity came from them getting around him too easily. So Miles Robinson, yes, is probably the extra center back if we're going to bring 5 center backs because of the formation we're going to play, but not thrilled with the play. Not bashing, but not thrilled. I thought it was really interesting in this camp that we saw Diego Luna not start in either match. I really was surprised to see that. I mean, obviously, Pochettino's just trying to see what he can get out of Weston McKennie on that right-hand side, but for me, watching Diego Luna, I really liked when... Let's get back to our formation here. I really, really liked when the ball came out to Freeman here. You kind of got in this diamond. McKennie kind of got a little bit wider. And Luna actually came into this right-hand half space. I really think for Diego Luna, yes, there's no doubt he is more dangerous dribbling at defense from this left-hand half space. He's really, really comfortable driving this way, cutting in, driving this way, getting to the byline. But when he's in this right-hand side, I really like him as a passer. The angles play to him a lot better. Multiple times when he got to this right-hand side, he was able to play a ball in behind into this channel. He was able to play the ball on the ground into the box and follow it then back into the left-hand half space. I think for Diego Luna, I'd love to have seen him get the opportunity to play in this McKennie role and see if he was more comfortable kind of dropping into here and being the passer that I'm not sure I knew he was, because his whole career he's played a lot off that left-hand side. That's really where he's been in the left half spaces. But in the Gold Cup, I thought he was really good every time he got dropped into the right-hand half spaces and passed. In this match, I thought his angles were a lot better. He plays to his strength. So interesting to see that out of Diego Luna. And on the flip side, the fact that he didn't start in either match, there were a lot of rumors that he wasn't going to be in this squad. I think Pochettino has maybe not fallen out of love with Diego Luna, but I think the conversation about Diego Luna is shifting a little bit as to where he fits into this team and what the plan is in this formation. I think in this back 5 formation, Diego Luna isn't necessarily as much of a threat because of the fact that he's not really an inside forward. He does want to drop a little bit deeper at times and then follow the ball. So we'll have to keep an eye on that as we move forward. Last couple things on some subs. Brenden Aaronson, man, he's such an interesting and confusing player. He gets into a lot of great spaces, and he made one fantastic pass to Luna in the box where Luna really should have scored. And I'm not taking anything away from that, but, I mean, there were 5 times in the last 15 minutes he was in great places, but so wasteful. He's just such a frustrating player. Like, he just gets almost like he's got so many thoughts he's trying to execute that he can't pick one out. And just wasteful in those opportunities. And then lastly, on the subs, Tanner Tessman was just he's such a patient passer. Like that little opportunity that he created where he received the ball like here, and he just waited to play this pass into Aiden Morris. I just think there's a quality that he has similarly to the way I talk about Tillman, Richards, the best players in this team. There's a quality that Tanner Tessman has that nobody else has that changes the way that we can play. It makes us more unpredictable. He waits another half second that the defense is kind of not expecting, like they think the opportunity is gone, and then he plays that pass perfectly. Tanner Tessman to me, this was a huge camp for him. Just not only did he make an incredibly strong case for being close to the lock conversation for the World Cup, but a really strong effort and ability to show Pochettino why he's so important to the way that Pochettino wants to play. I was going to do a little tactical analysis here just on how we kind of tried to play in this match. I'm not going to spend too long on it, but I've already talked a lot about it. The one thing I really wanted to mention was there's one thing that confuses me greatly about Pochettino still to this day, and it's like, I don't know if it's misprofiling as much as it is just like maybe a difference in opinion on how to play. But I think I said it a lot during the Gold Cup. I definitely mentioned it a lot in September. But in this camp, like, the amount of times I saw let's say for this match or the previous match, like, right, it was Morris and Tessman or Roldan and Sands. Like, I saw Morris or Roldan be the deeper in buildup, and then Tessman or Sands kind of being this left-hand side of the diamond pushing forward. And the reason that I think that's happening is because Pochettino wants this right back to be the one who tucks more into the diamond, or in this case, he was hoping for it to be Weston McKennie, who is going to tuck more into the diamond, and those guys are playing off the right-hand side. But I would just so much rather see kind of this deeper lying playmaker like a Tessman or a Sands be this deeper player in the diamond, right? What happens is this ball comes out, and again, I get it. Like with Sands and Tessman, what happens is this player ends up kind of dropping into the wider place here so that your wingback can get higher up the pitch, Weah, Arfston, whoever it might be. But when that happens, I feel as if like Roldan isn't really super creative from the center of the midfield. Like he wants to be a forward passer when he receives the ball here, where he made a great pass for an assist. When he receives the ball here, when the ball comes all the way out wide to Freeman, and he gets the ball here where he made multiple great passes. I don't know. It's something to keep an eye on for sure, where I feel like there needs to be a midfield where both players are comfortable doing both things. Cardoso, Tessman, like that keeps coming back to me where Cardoso and Tessman are the best option for that. Now, I mentioned that there were some questions at the beginning of the episode. I mentioned there are some questions that need to be asked, right, about this team. And just looking here, you can see the team that we played. This break, having been the best one under Pochettino, I feel pretty confident about that, has left us with some really interesting questions that I am going to address in the next episode. So make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and thank you for watching. But I'm going to leave you with these questions ahead of the video that's going to come out Friday on the World Cup squad and where it stands right now. Where does Weston McKennie fit? Has Cristian Roldan played his way into the squad? And Miles Robinson, is he going to replace Joe Scally as kind of that right center back, center back, versatile Swiss Army knife defensive option? Those three questions are the big ones to me that have been asked here. There are many more that need to be discussed. So again, we will see you Friday for our stock watch, our World Cup squad stock watch. Like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you then.